Hello? Oh, hi, darling.
Half a world away, another day. So let's go play on the moon. It's a starry place. We embrace the space while we're miles away on the moon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Other Line. I am your host, Kelly Keegs. Today, we are talking about poems and poetry. We're bringing it down. We're getting moody. And the reason behind that is Taylor Swift's Midnights album came out this past weekend, and I was going to make this a whole Taylor Swift episode again, but we literally just did a Taylor Swift episode, so we have to wait at least 6 months to do another one, at least I think. And we also, myself and John Feidelberg, recorded an in-depth analysis of the album on Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran. So if you're looking for something like that, go ahead and listen to that. I also wrote a blog on BarstoolSports.com breaking down all my favorite lyrics and everything that happened in the past weekend. And coincidentally, last night, we're recording this on a Tuesday, so 2 days ago, Taylor Swift went on Jimmy Fallon, hinted at a tour coming soon, and also released the new music video for Bejeweled, which was just one big confirmation that Speak Now is the next Taylor's version that is to come out. So I'm excited. Ladies, what do you think? What do we think about the album? Wait, before you even speak. We had a little bit of I was a little bit beside myself, and I was like, you know what? No, Kelly, keep it together. I was getting texts from these fucking bitches on Friday being like after midnight, it's like 1 a.m. We're all listening to the album. They're both like, it's just like not that good. They're together. And this is what you had texted me that, both of you. At the same time, I have Fran text me on the side being like, I think you got to fire my sister. She's saying that Midnights is bad. And I was like, I don't know what G is smoking right now, but she's losing her mind. And, but I heard your arguments. I told you to sleep on it over the weekend. Yes. Now, What do you think?
It slays.
Okay, good.
It's
good.
way better.
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
It's an album that grows on you, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
We were I know that Fran said this on Chicks in the Office,
yes.
but we were in like a folklore mood because we went to Noah Khan, and he's more
which
of
I'm
an
very
indie.
jealous of.
Oh my God.
I just
it was
discovered him last week. Like, I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know
everyone
how I
has.
heard it.
I mean, I didn't really know him until Stick Season. That song came out like this summer.
I think that was on like TikTok recently or
It was,
something,
yeah.
and that's how I heard it.
Yes.
I was like, "Ooh, what's this fucking song?" And then I found out like the Six Season album, and
so
It
good.
was
Yeah.
a religious experience.
Yeah.
I
It was
believe
so
it.
good.
Yeah.
Pier 17, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It was
so
just
we
like
were very much
so
in that
fun.
folk indie mood. and
Patagonia catalog.
Wow.
And then we roll into this.
then, and then
it's
to hear
just not
Lavender
that.
Haze, we kept looking at each other. We're like,
Like we didn't want to say anything mean.
yeah.
No, it's hard. It's hard too, especially when you're coming down off of an experience like that with somebody where you're like, wow, this is great. Like I could never go see like Dermot Kennedy and then come back and listen to a new Taylor Swift album. Like that's how I kind of compare Noah to that. And I feel like I just feel like this album specifically by Taylor, it's a lot of like synth poppy stuff. Like
Totally.
it's not there are some sad songs, especially the 7 that she released
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Oh,
I think
those
are the
were
most are the
amazing.
closest to like, and a lot of those are like my favorites. I love
Yeah,
a
I
sad
agree.
song, you know me, I
So,
love
Same.
a fucking sad song. But the other songs I've been listening nonstop since Friday, and I'm just like I love them all except I don't like Snow on the Beach.
Neither do I.
I'm fine saying it. I just don't like it.
I don't like Snow on the Beach
And
either.
also
I skip it now. The other day I wrote that I was like, I haven't had any skips yet. Snow on the Beach, I skipped it this morning.
yeah.
and the fact that she's like Lana Del Rey is on it, and then it's just no Lana.
Lana was zero.
Yeah.
I mean, where was Lana? Doing backing vocals?
like
like the back
that
of
was
the
kinda-
back of the back
right.
of the room.
yeah.
Someone said, I saw some tweet like retweeted on my timeline that was like what did what's her fucking name? Phoebe
Bridgers.
What did Phoebe Bridgers have to do to get like a whole
Literally.
bridge and like a whole like singing half of the song of Nothing New on Taylor's Red Taylor's version?
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Even I'll Bet You Think About Me with Chris Stapleton, you can at least hear him too. Like
Yeah.
you can hear him
Kinda.
in the background, like, he's a male voice, so it's different. But like, I don't know,
Bon
something
Iver.
about
He
Bonnie
actually
Bear
got some
obviously
verses.
is
Like, you
very
can't
involved.
be so disrespectful if
Oh,
you did
So
it.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
But
so disrespectful.
in like Nobody No Crime, you can't really hear Haim.
That's true. It
That's
is.
true.
It is the same vibes as that. But then, are we thinking that like Lana and Taylor sound so similar? We literally couldn't even hear her voice. Like I feel like I could barely hear her voice at all. It was very much the tone of a song she would
Yeah.
sing, but just I couldn't hear.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it.
Snow on the
But-
Beach is def not a fave of mine.
No,
Yeah, I
No.
just don't like the chorus.
no, me neither. It's
Weird
just
but
fucking beautiful.
like,
Like,
it's
come on.
catchy, you know. Like I'll
Yeah.
sing it, it'll get stuck in my down by
Yeah.
the pocket full. Like it gets in my
yeah,
head.
yeah, but
it's just
like
not my-
not what I was expecting at all.
No,
No, I also don't love Lavender Haze, and
Neither
for
do
that
I.
to be the opener,
Yeah,
was like, oh
was tough.
shit.
It's hard to go for, like you said, from your guys' concert to
Yeah.
Lavender Haze.
Yeah.
First listen, I didn't really love it. Now I kind of like it. It reminds me of, it could fit on like it could fit on Harry's House, you know? Like it kind of sounds
Yeah.
like that to
Kinda,
me.
yeah.
And when I think about it in that way, I think a lot of these songs are like that. Like I feel like Harry's House album, Harry Styles, obviously, and this album, the sounds are kind of similar.
I agree.
Does that
I
make
can
sense?
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like music at a sushi restaurant's kind of that poppy,
Like
sweet
Keep
Driving.
and like
Yeah.
a lot of them are kind of similar. And I think that's just like a trendy sound right now. Like it's just that 90s,
Yeah, I agree.
you know, 70s, 80s, like
Yeah.
fusion, whatever. So I think that that's just popping out. And we also got the Anti-Hero music video and now the Bejeweled
Yeah.
music video. So
Yeah, so many songs have been
she's
growing
just
on me so
amazing.
much. I was
Yeah.
just listening like when I was setting up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't really like Question.
Oh, I
Oh,
love
it's like my
Question.
I know I
favorite one.
love
Question.
Yeah,
Question.
yeah, it's like my favorite. It's,
I
I said
didn't-
on the thing, Question is for the Crazy Girls.
Yeah.
Question's the Crazy
Yeah.
Girl
It's like,
song.
oh, what are we?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
And
Can
I-
I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Like, can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
No, it's never good.
There's so many songs where I was just like, I don't really know if I like this, and now like I know that I like it.
I cleaned my whole apartment to Mastermind on loop.
love it, love it,
Like-
love it.
Only that
yeah, I
song.
It's
still
a
don't
great
know how I feel
song.
about that one.
I had Question on repeat for a while. I also have Labyrinth on repeat a
Labyrinth
lot.
is so
Labyrinth
fucking
was
good.
written for me.
That was
Those
the
are like
first,
my top two.
That was like the only song when we listened to it
That
through
we were
the
like,
first
slay.
time that I was like, that song is
Yeah.
very, very good.
It
Yeah.
fucks. The one where she's like auto-tuning her own voice or something. The oh no, I'm
Yeah.
falling
Yeah,
in. It's
I
like
love
actually
that.
deep.
But that's the
It's
thing, like,
amazing.
I wanted to have like a huge bridge.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
I think
like
your sister said the same thing.
yeah.
Like a very similar, like needed
need
that like
something
ballad.
where you like turn it up in the car all
I
the
don't know
way.
if any of these songs have
And none
that.
of them really do. Shoulda, coulda, woulda, kind of.
Maybe
That
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And
That-
You're on Your Own Kid, kind of.
Sure.
You're on
I
Your Own
agree.
Kid makes me very sad.
Yeah,
Makes
me
me
too.
sad as fuck too. Yeah.
Me
Me
too.
too.
Mastermind kind of has that bridge.
One of all this was
Then
accidental.
all
Yeah.
at first
That night
you
she
said
said
me,
me
I knew I wanted your body.
I laid the groundwork and then wow, we gotta relax. It's been
I know.
3 days. But that's what's so fun about it. It's like the most fun thing in the world is like
Yeah.
just learning all the lyrics immediately and like knowing all the words right away. And I don't know. I love Taylor Swift. I love you know, everything she does, everything she says, everything she writes, really. And she inspired this topic for today, poetry, because she is she's a lyricist, and in my mind, that translates directly to poet. And if you look up all the different artists that are also poets on the side, Taylor Swift is top of the list. Like she's always writing poems, she's always writing stuff. But ladies, I have some little silly things for us today to wear. Okay. First of all, I really bought these for us. We're wearing them all day.
This is so exciting.
And then and then I also got for you guys. These are to borrow because these are my own.
Okay.
Madeline, I don't even think you have to because you have those glasses. I brought you these funky glasses.
Oh my God.
You could
Perfect.
choose.
Oh my God.
Moody
slay.
glasses.
Which one do you want?
I'll take the white and the black. I
I
feel like
have
that
these.
matches my
Red
outfit.
matches
Yep.
my outfit, the right.
Okay. I'm gonna put my costume on. Give me a second.
Is this how you wear a beret? I've never worn one.
Oh my God,
I
wait.
tested it. It looks so cute on
Madeline,
you.
why do I feel like you've worn a beret
It looks
before?
so cute on
I
you.
promise I
Fuck.
have. Wait.
Hold on. Yeah, I need to put my beret on. What do we think?
Slay.
Oh, slay. Oh, you are like all black moment right now.
That's what I did. I did the all black
Yeah.
on
I
purpose.
need to go to France right now.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Like
Oui,
we're in
oui.
France. Can I tell you something also? That I have a pair of sunglasses that are black, just like the two of those, and I couldn't fucking find them.
Ugh.
Couldn't find them anywhere. So I wanted the three of us to have the same.
No, these are
so I,
perfect.
had
I
to
think
choose
those
these.
fit your
You think
your
they fit my
outfit
vibe?
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You look
cool.
like you're gonna like do some slam poetry, and we're gonna
That's
snap.
the point. That's the whole point. Is that we're looking cute. Wow. Okay.
I gotta see.
I'm looking fly. All right.
This is slay. Oh.
So these are our. This is us being silly, but we're going into poetry today, and we're just gonna be poets. We're gonna talk about poetry. I texted you guys last week, being like, would it be weird if we did an episode like that? And it felt weird in the moment. I was like, this is bizarre. No one's gonna like this, whatever. And then in the way. I do this sometimes where I'm like, I'll make fun of myself to see if other people agree with it or if
Yeah.
other people are like, wait, no, that's actually a good idea. And people loved the idea of poetry. Like
Oh, nice.
I was shocked by that. And I had some people like responding on Twitter, but Instagram really is where everybody like was in my DMs being like, oh my God, these are my favorite poets. So when I put up a question thing, as I always do, asking people for their favorite poems, favorite poets. I was flooded. Absolutely. Look at all these. I wrote most of them down. Look at all the ones there up top. And then
wish I had a
had to
favorite
star. I had to star a bunch of them because multiple people suggested multiple people. And then, so I'm just going to go through that a little bit. At the end, I'm going to read all of the submissions and I'll say which ones were like most important, which ones are most requested, whatever. And I'll read a couple poems. But the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to poetry is, how much poetry and or like short story reading and stuff did you guys do in school?
I feel like short stories more.
Yeah.
Poetry, I feel like none.
Really?
I feel like the only poem I knew was Two Roads Diverge by Ryan.
I didn't even
Yeah,
about
two
that.
roads and a diverge.
Wood.
Or
I take the road less traveled
the
by.
road less
Yeah,
traveled.
yeah.
I think I learned like sonnets. I had a unit on sonnets, which
makes
I don't really
sense.
remember what those are.
Sonnets are just little. They are two.
Yeah, it's like the AABB.
Yeah.
I remember like the
It's
rhyme
like in
schemes.
succession. Haikus.
Yes.
Haikus. I had to do
yes.
haikus growing
Haikus.
up.
I vividly remember learning about haikus in the 3rd grade.
I was
don't
trying to
know
think
why.
of a haiku on the way to work here.
Oh yeah.
It was something like, I work at Barstool Sports.
It's 5.
But I couldn't.
5.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
five
it's
5,
first?
7,
I
it's
thought it was
5,
757.
No,
No,
575.
575. I looked up this
I
morning.
work at Barstool.
Yeah.
We
It
are
is
filming.
A
O.T.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was
We
thinking
are
like,
filming Kelly's podcast is 8.
yeah.
Shit. It's hard to
It's
do.
hard.
The 7 is hard. I work at Barstool. Everyone is nice to me. I work really, really hard.
Slay the day
There you go.
away.
Yeah, that's perfect. Love Slay the Day Away. But yeah, so I feel like when I was growing up, when I was learning about English was always my favorite subject. If that's a fucking shock to anybody. English, creative writing, anything that had to do with like reading stories, writing stories, expressing yourself like via the written word. Those are my favorite things. And what I always took away from these classes where we were reading poetry is that we really needed to just, as kids, be able to express ourselves in a way that was like informal. I feel like whenever we as kids and even as adults, it's hard to express yourself to people because it requires you to be vulnerable about something. It requires you to show that you're uneasy about something or to like have a staunch opinion on something, and people will label you that way forever. And it's like, it's kind of hard to do that. With a poem, it's kind of like, oh, you wrote that poem. Do you really feel that way? Or were you just using this as a creative outlet? Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe there's not. And I just feel like it's nice. But I looked up online, like how, Googled as usual. I said, like, why is it important to teach kids and young adults about poetry and whatever? And they basically said a little bit of what I said. They said poetry can allow kids to paint sketches of their lives using metaphor, imagery, and symbolic language to describe painful experiences or parts of themselves that they're not ready to share. Poetry allows kids to put language to use to make it serve a deep internal purpose, to break rules along the way, grammar, punctuation, capitalization, think of E.E. Cummings, and to find voice, representation, and a community perhaps. I love that. I love that description because that is true. There are so many poets who write about specific things that people are drawn to. Somebody that a lot of people were suggesting in my DMs was Charles Bukowski, and I don't know if you guys know anything about him. So he's kind of like a shock writer. Like he writes about like sex stuff in like a graphic way. Like he'll write about like masturbating and a lot of like guys like him, like men like him. Right. And I appreciate him. I think he's fine. He's not totally my style, but I like the shock of it, whatever. And there's one poem that he writes called Bluebird. And it's a quick poem, so I'm just going to read it. Hold on. Which I do like. And sometimes, hold on, let's see. Charles Bukowski, Bluebird. And sometimes, oh, look, there's a video of, there's a video. Oh, no, just kidding. That's a song. I thought it was a video of Adrian Brody, like, reading the Bluebird. I was like, what the fuck? Because it's like Adrian, whatever. It's so stupid. Okay, here we go. I'll read like 2 verses. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him to inhale cigarette smoke. And the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. And that's just like the first two verses of it. But he writes stuff like that where he's self-deprecating, he beats himself up. He sounds like he's had problems his whole life, or he's writing from that perspective of like alcoholism and drug abuse and whatever. And people really love it. They relate to it. They like the rawness of it. They're into it. So I think that that's interesting. Another one that people wanted to talk about, obviously, kind of going back to childhood, is Shel Silverstein. Did you guys have a big like
Giving
just
Tree?
Fucking
Shel?
love Shel Silverstein. Is he the Giving Tree?
Yes, Giving
That
Tree,
book
like the
changed my
upside,
life.
upwards failing, upwards.
Is he the one that's walking to the end of the earth?
Yes.
Yes.
What's that called though? It's not that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Let's
That one
see.
always made me nervous to find the end of the earth.
A Light in the Attic.
A
A Light in the Attic. Giving
Yeah.
Tree, A
That's
Light
like
in the Attic.
A
Missing
Light in
Piece.
the Attic is like a book full of poems, right?
Yes, and apparently, A Light in the Attic. I read this morning. Was for his daughter, I believe,
Oh, don't
who
say that, I'm gonna cry.
who
Yeah,
died when she was
falling
11.
Oh,
Oh,
Isn't that
shut up.
terrible?
No.
Isn't that awful? And
Yeah,
then, and you know,
falling
and
up.
he died of a heart attack, 68, in like
Really?
1999. Yeah, isn't
I
that
kind of
insane?
knew that he died. But
Yeah, I knew he
just,
died.
Like, I feel like I had no idea.
What's the one where he
Falling
goes to the
Up
end of
is
the
the other. I think they're
Yeah.
all pretty much book of poems and drawings by Shel Silverstein.
that like illustration type that he had,
Yeah.
like
The
is
Just
very
the black and white with that like
where the sidewalk ends.
where the
Yes.
sidewalk ends. That's what it is. I can
Yes.
literally vividly picture
Yeah.
the
Wow,
illustrations
that, like,
in
makes
that book.
me want to like read.
I know,
his
it's making me
stuff.
I know,
nostalgic.
right?
Yeah.
When I was
Yeah.
looking at all this shit this morning, I was like, damn, I really want
Yeah,
to spend like 12 hours doing this.
The Giving Tree is such a good like message for
completely
children.
completely. Have you seen, this is so stupid after we're like, it's such a good message. Have you seen the memes where it's the Giving Tree, but she's got like she's like
Oh, she's giving.
she's giving. She's literally giving. She's like
She has the
and, like,
acrylics.
purse lips and like acrylics. Oh
my
god, it
God.
makes me laugh. Memes are so fucking funny.
I
Like
know.
people are
People are
so
so
they're
creative.
so funny. Like I don't even know why. Like I don't even have that kind of brain. But so funny. So yeah, so a lot of people were talking about Shel Silverstein being like he raised me, and
Totally.
and I totally agree. Like that was a huge part of all of the English units that we did growing up, and like in every grade, I feel like Shel Silverstein has poems that are written for children. He also has a lot of poems that are written for adults, which I didn't really realize. I like
didn't know that.
tried to
Didn't either.
couple of them out. They're kind of long, so I won't read any, but they check them out if you have time. I was surprised by them, and I feel like we there was always a new one to go over in every grade. Like I feel like he was consistent
Yeah.
like throughout our lives, which was nice. Edgar Allan Poe, thoughts?
Oh,
He's
my
so
gosh.
dramatic.
So dramatic.
he's the one
He
with the
was
crow.
so dramatic. He's the
Crow.
Raven. The
The
Raven.
Raven,
Which
the
I'm going to
Raven,
read
the
the
Raven.
Raven
And
to
what's
us.
the one where there's
The Telltale
someone
Heart.
under
Telltale
the
Heart.
The
Yeah.
Someone under
Telltale
the-
Heart, which
yeah.
is my fucking like one of my favorite stories. The Telltale
Yeah.
Heart. I don't know why. Like so, the story of the Telltale Heart is that he like kills somebody and puts the
Puts him in
heart
the floorboard,
in the
right?
floorboards.
Yeah.
And as like a memento or something. I wish I need to reread it, but I'm pretty sure that's like the gist of it.
No, I remember that.
The last I remember it was in like 5th grade. I think we read it. And so I was like, all right, here it is. He's got the heart in the floorboard. He has like people over. He's in his house. It's the middle of the night and he can hear it beating.
Right.
And that's what the thing is. And he has like people in his house and he's afraid that they're going to be able to hear it as well. And he's going to get caught. And it's just what an anxiety story. But the Raven is his, let's say, I like thought I screenshotted all these so I wouldn't have to be Googling them, but here we go. This one, the Raven is like the most famous, I would say, by him. The famous poem anyway. Let me see. I keep clicking the fucking, here we go. Come on with this. You know what's so annoying is that it keeps popping up like posters and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, I can't just, okay, here we go. All right. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many oh my God. Over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone greatly rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books sucrese of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
Also, I can't see.
Very good
I can't
rhyming.
see anything in these glasses. I gotta be honest with you.
I'm like
Take them off now.
feeling very sympathetic for PFT that this was his life for like 5 years.
No, dude, it's like it's impossible. Whenever I have to wear sunglasses inside for like too
Oh,
long.
oh my God, I was so confused. I
and
thought you meant
read.
like he like read poems for a really long time. I was like,
Yo, I
what?
feel so bad. He really relates
He
to the
really
Raven.
relates to the Raven.
He really, really relates.
That's hilarious. I was so confused by why you just said that.
My bangs are too long too. I need a bang trim. They kept telling me like you can come in for a bang trim, and I was like I will, and now I need it. I'm just
Yeah.
being lazy. But yeah. So whatever. That I think is. If you're like a goth girly growing up, you love Edgar Allan Poe. You love the drama, you love the murder, you love the pining away, like whatever. It's always it says a lot about you if you like Edgar Allan Poe, I think, and I do. I like him very much. So
I was
that's
not.
nice. No, not for you girls.
I was really into
No.
Rupi Kaur in high school.
What's that?
Oh my God.
That
I don't
book.
know that.
You don't know.
You don't know
that's
Rupi Kaur?
Ruby Kaur.
Rupi, RUPI. She had that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rupi Kaur. I had 100 people submit
yeah,
Rupi
yeah.
Kaur.
That was
Burn
my
the city down.
My basic ass had that book. Locked in.
I
I was
have
posting
one-
pictures of it on my Visco, being like,
Of course.
I
course.
am deep.
Did you guys fuck with Visco? Did you guys
I
have
fucked
that?
with it
I was
so
too
hard.
old. I was like too old when it became like I had it. I thought it was like a same thing with Instagram. When Instagram first came out, I thought it was just like a photo editing app. I didn't realize it was like a thing you can
A
post
posting
pictures
thing.
to and like whatever. So I would just edit photos and post them, no caption. Like I just thought it was me saving them to my like feed.
That's
And
hilarious.
it was not the case. And then I also thought the same with Visco. I was like, oh, it's just an editing app, whatever. I had no idea it was like,
like,
this
other people could see
social
it, yeah.
network. I just had no idea.
I still
So I
edit
missed
all
it.
of my pictures on Visco, but I don't post on it anymore. But oh
That
yeah,
makes-
my
But they
high
have
school
good, It has
ass.
good edit.
Yeah, my high school ass
Rupi-
was all over the Rupi Kaur
Disco
poems.
is like how you found the tea.
Ruby
Yeah.
Kaur. That is so funny because I had never heard of it, and I think I got like 10 people being like everything by Ruby Kaur. Everybody kind of shits on her, but like whatever. And I was like, what?
She gives.
What's the one? It's like daughters to
Like she talks a lot about like
father to daughter.
feminist topics and like familial trauma.
Yeah, that's what I saw the little father
Her writing
poem.
is just kind of very basic.
It
Coming from me, which I mean, I can't do anything like that, but like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
is it fair to say that she's like kind of millennial?
Totally. I think
Yes.
100% because I had never heard of her. I was looking up her poems. This is the poem that I saved to read. It's called To Fathers with Daughters. It says, every time you tell your daughter you yell at her out of love, you teach her to confuse anger with kindness, which
Yeah.
seems like a good idea till she grows up to trust men who hurt her because they look so much like you. And I was like,
Yeah.
ouch.
Yeah.
Ooh, the chills, you know?
Ouch.
And I liked that. And there were a bunch of, there are a few others. I like also that she has like short poems.
Yeah, they're little
Yeah.
stints.
I'm stuck in this one is parent guilt. I'm stuck in this constant cycle of running off to build my life and running back because I feel guilty about not spending enough time with them. Wow, that is
She
that hits
definitely
home.
like I was like a junior in high school, like, and I would be mad at my dad because he like yelled at me for not doing my homework, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is about me, actually.
yeah. This is my trauma.
Yeah.
And thank God I now have Ruby here to
Yeah.
help me through it.
I like bought it from Urban Outfitters. I was like,
Of course.
I'm pretty sure
When you buy poems
Fran's
from Urban Outfitters.
boyfriend has like 2 of Rupi Kaur's books.
Wait, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I
I know.
how have I never? I don't know how nobody has ever like
I
told
thi-
me about. her
I bet you
before.
just missed her because I feel like
must
she
have.
was for like kind of like
For sure. Like I was
5
probably out
years
of school by
younger
the
than you.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was probably out of
Milk
school
and
by the
Honey
time.
was
Milk
her
and Honey.
big
That's what
one.
it is. Yeah.
Milk
Yeah.
and Honey. See, like I don't even.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was like her book, and
Makes
then
me
there was like
feel
another
like
like
a-
sunflower one, maybe.
Yeah, The Sun and Her Flowers.
Yep.
Wow, makes you feel like such a faker. Okay. Also, have to mention Robert Frost. Lot of
yeah.
Robert Frost. You said him before. Two
Divergent
roads.
and Yellowwood.
The road not taken.
Is it Yellowwood?
Uh,
Two
roads diverge in a yellow wood.
And I took
the
the one
less
less
traveled
traveled,
by. I think yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's like fall time.
Right.
There's one though. I think it's stopping by woods on a snowy evening. That's like a snow version of the woods. I feel like he's just always in the woods. Robert Frost, which I like. I also love the name Robert Frost.
Yeah, that's
I
a
feel like
good
that's a
name.
great name, great poet name. Like
Totally.
I don't know, it's just good shit all around. A lot of people. I didn't look her up, but a lot of people were talking about Sabrina Benaim. Have you heard of her before?
No.
No idea. But I had like 4 or 5 people talking about her. One of the poems I guess she wrote is called "Explaining My Depression to My Mother" and "The Loneliest Sweet Potato." These were suggestions by people.
I think I
Both of
heard
them sound funny.
Loneliest Sweet Potato.
That's cute. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah.
But that sounds cute. Put it on my list. A lot of
It's not what you think it's about. I'm pretty sure.
I assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed it's like a fake cover.
Yeah.
Can I say also that one person wrote in Shakespeare and I laughed out loud. I was like, you got it.
Well, you make
Nailed
sure
it.
right there.
True. Facts. So whatever. I also have Ulysses, Rudyard Kipling. I'm just gonna read a couple of these things that people said, and then I gotta move on to the rest of my stuff. Mary Oliver, Anne Champion, Emily Dickinson. Emily Dickinson, obviously,
Dickinson.
shout out.
She's a girl
Is
boss.
she a poet or an author?
I think she's both.
Okay.
Sylvia Plath, fucking duh,
Yeah.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
now, Scorpio
She's
season.
iconic.
She's the best. The Bell Jar is probably her.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's her biggest, but she's got a lot of good
It's
shit.
like the most iconic, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
She obviously killed herself at age 30. Maybe that's not obvious, but she killed herself
Was
at age
not
30.
obvious to me.
A lot of her work is very dark and deeply depressed, and that's why I love it. Obviously, just she's another one like, oof. You know who? One of my favorite lines. I don't know which Lana song it is, but she says something like, walking around in my fucking nightgown 24/7 Sylvia Plath is like the lyric, and it to me, if you have read the Bell Jar, you like are familiar with Sylvia Plath's work, it just paints a perfect picture of like, woe is me, I'm walking around,
Right.
I don't even know what to do with myself, and I'm at a loss, and it spoke a lot to me. I liked it a lot. Let's see, somebody said Olivia Gatwood. Have you heard of her?
No.
Yeah, I'm mostly just reading these to see if you guys know
Yeah.
them, because I felt like, oh wow. Philip Larkin,
I've heard of
Philip
him.
Larkin. That's I think more famous. Dale Wimbrow, The Man in the Glass. I don't know that. A big shout to what's his face, Langston Hughes.
yeah.
Obviously. I appreciated somebody said that because I didn't think about Langston Hughes, but I also liked, or it made me think of, whenever I hear his name, it makes me think of La Vie Boheme from Rent, the song, because they sing about, do you know Rent, the movie?
I know Rent, but
The
never seen
musical,
it.
but also like the movie,
Right.
which I love. They have a song called La Vie Boheme where they're in the restaurant and they're all dancing around and they are talking about all the different ways to express your art through music, writing, whatever. And they reference Langston Hughes and Stephen Sondheim and all these other people. And I feel like when I watched that movie, I didn't know a lot of those names, and I was like, "Oh, interesting! Like, why don't I know these names?" And after looking them up, I'm glad that they have that. And I feel like it's important to put writers' names into things like that because it's easy to remember a singer because you like a song. It's easy to remember an actor because you like a movie, but it's hard to think of writers because they're not so front facing. And I feel like they're so but they're so talented. I love a good writer. I think it's amazing. I also think that poetry just enhances your vocabulary. It opens up your mind to different ways of thinking. I appreciate that. And a quick theory that I heard about, and then I have a couple more things. They're books. I'm gonna read. They're from my own personal stash of poem books. I'm gonna read some poems. Have you guys heard this theory about Taylor Swift's pen name being June Bates for sapphic poetry books, which is lesbian poetry. And there are 2 books. The first one is called She is the Poem. It came out in May of this year. The second one came out a couple weeks ago or something, and it's called The Lavender Haze. And I was like, oh, so people on TikTok are going crazy. I looked at it on Amazon this morning. I was thinking about buying them just so I could read them and see. I clicked on the look inside and saw the poems. In the first one, the intro is like, there's not much of an intro because this is my first shot at writing one of these books, and I'm probably every day doing XYZ and crying to Taylor Swift. So whatever. So that to me tells me it's not her. Like,
I was
Yeah,
just
I don't
about
think
to
she
say,
would
I
do
don't
something
think that
like
she
that.
Why
would like
she,
make a
say
joke like
about
that.
herself? Yeah.
Because that to me is like, oh, what? And I want to read really quick
So do people think it's her just because the second book was called Lavender Haze?
I think I haven't seen the rest of the inside book, but a lot of people say that a lot of the poetry is reminiscent of Taylor's lyrics. But if this girl is a Taylor
If
Swift
she's a
fan, that
fan,
makes
then
sense
yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. Listen to this fucking crazy shit. So I'm on Amazon, right? I'm looking up the books. I go to look at the reviews. They're flooded with Taylor Swift shit. So
Right.
it's like,
Obviously.
okay, kind of annoying. This person writes this. 1 star. The Falsehood of Taylor. This is on the new book, The Lavender Haze, October 24th. Taylor, if this is you, hey. I truly do feel immense sympathy for you as a closeted queer woman, but I also believe that you are not a good human being. I think you have lived a facade of a life in more ways than one. Are you a closeted gay woman? Yes. Are you also a covert, manipulative narcissist? Also, yes. I feel immense sympathy for the childhood you've endured and likely having a narcissistic mother, but I don't feel sympathy in any other respect. You have shown time and time again that your kindness is fake despite being aware of it and mocking it. Your vengefulness, manipulation of the truth, inability to admit wrongdoing, perpetual victimhood, and arrogance are all vile. Can you believe? I hope you get treatment for your narcissism because people don't deserve to suffer at your hands anymore. You have a cult-like fan base that will forever support you due to the way you've built it, but that's it. The truth is so glaring. You are a vile human being. I hope everyone wakes up to their senses and sees you for what you are. You are a terribly miserable, controlling, and tortured individual.
No.
Can you believe that?
Wow, I cannot believe someone took the time out of their day to do that.
Exactly. And also, like, it's probably not Taylor Swift. Like,
Yeah,
it's not.
I know this
Taylor
poor
Swift.
girl,
probably
June,
not, like-
whatever. She probably is like, what the fuck?
She's like, how can I? Right. Like, I bet she's getting good book sales. People thinking
Oh,
that it is
totally.
Taylor. But then she's going to get all this, like, hate, being like, what the fuck? Like, fuck you, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. I don't know.
Nuts.
Would you
That
take
is
that, though?
absurd.
Would you take the hate if it meant,
Yeah.
like, good book sales? I think
Because
I
it's not
would, too.
about me.
That's
True. I'd be like, whatever. Like, you're not talking about me. You
that
have
is
no
a
idea
good
what the fuck
point.
is going
They
on.
don't know who June is.
No, like they hate Taylor
Like,
Swift.
Is there pictures of this girl?
Yes, like does she have?
I
Like, an
didn't. I honestly
Instagram?
didn't look it up. I
What's
didn't
her
look it up. June Bates. We Google it.
June
Somebody
Bates?
June Bates.
Like the Bates Motel.
Yes. June Bates. Really weird.
Also, like
While we're looking that up, I out of curiosity looked up how many other musical artists are also poets, because obviously Taylor Swift I think we could put in that category, and most people who write their own lyrics I feel have a lot of any pics.
no.
Interesting.
Where-
No Instagram, no IG.
Not that I'm
How's the
finding.
promo then for those books?
I know, weird.
Interesting. Well, it's a theory going around on TikTok, so I don't know if like I forget who told me that. I think I was just getting DMs about it. I didn't actually see a video about it for myself, so I don't really know what the comparisons are, but people are saying that. So I'm looking up to see what other artists were poets as well. And non-surprisingly, John Lennon, okay, yeah, figured as much, had like a bunch of poems, whatever. James Blake, also not surprised.
Love him.
Oh,
I
love
love a James Blake song.
Yeah.
That also
Holy
makes
shit.
sense based on how he writes.
Makes a lot of sense. A lot of melancholy people, I think. Kurt Cobain was a poet.
Yeah.
Can you
that makes
believe?
sense.
That makes sense.
It does make sense when I think about it, but I think it's such a sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet, you know. The last one, my favorite one, I never knew this. Tupac Shakur was a poet.
Really?
He was also a ballet dancer.
Wow.
I know. And listen to this excerpt. This is an excerpt from a poem that he wrote. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete, proving nature's law is wrong? It learned to walk without having feet.
Love that.
I love
Isn't that
that.
wonderful?
Yeah.
I just loved it. So I was happy about that. Shout out to Tupac.
I don't like that. Like all of these people are dead, basically.
I
besides
know,
James
right? Isn't that
Blake.
fucked up? I know. Isn't that so crazy?
I feel
I don't
like
know.
poets.
Are sad.
They're tortured souls.
Yeah.
We're tortured souls. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Okay. I have all these books. I'm not going to read from all these books, but I wanted to talk about each of them. This is Halsey's book. Have you guys?
She's a poet.
Yes. Have you? Oh yeah, Halsey. We're going right into it.
Ashley.
She
I'm
is.
not a big Halsey girl.
I would leave me if I could is what it's called, and it's just a lot of different poems about a lot of different things. The one that I have dog-eared for us today is a quick little one. It's just called The Question. It says, I stand before the mirror and examine my breasts, protruding forth from my chest and demanding kindness, free, ice cream, and violence. My speckled face, freckled, pale brown like organic eggs, flesh is pink, my eyebrows unkempt, and short hair untidy at the crown. I grip my buttocks, dissatisfied.
Interesting.
I don't know. Interesting. It's just kind of like she's angsty. One's called I'm angry because of my father. I'm angry
Yeah.
because my father, because he would come home wrinkled from work and slam the door so hard the house would shiver. Like it's just I love.
Halsey's also very much a troubled soul. I
She's
feel
a
like.
troubled
Yeah.
soul. This is a long book. There's
Yeah, it is long. It's a lot.
She's
there's
really troubled.
let's see. There's holy shit. There's 132
Oh God.
pages.
Wow, that's a lot.
132 pages. There's about a poem a page. Maybe some of them are 2 pages. But yeah, so that's a really good one. An
Who was
artist
the
who does
famous person that came
Really
out with
pretty.
a poem book and it was like, people were like, this is so bad.
it. Oh, I don't know.
Oh God, I don't
look it
know.
up.
But I
Shit.
want
Was
to
it
know now.
was it Halsey?
Was
No,
it-
I
yeah.
feel like it was Gabby Hanna, but I don't.
Oh, she did come out with
No.
the poetry book.
What the hell
Yep.
is Gabby Hanna up to? Wasn't she having a hard fucking
She
time for a
was,
while?
like having like a manic,
Manic
episode.
episode.
No, I know, right? Like
Yeah.
all over TikTok, right?
She
Did
was
they
like
figure her
basically
out? They sorted her
live
out.
TikToking about it.
Shit. Did they figure her out though? She's okay.
I don't know.
I don't know if she's
know
figured
what the
herself
update
out.
is on that.
I also
Damn.
think I don't know if that was, but she does a lot of things. Like she's very problematic because she does a lot of things crazy, like out there,
Yeah.
and then is like, okay, anyways, buy my new song. Like she like
right, like it
to
feels
bring
it
them
feels
into
performative
PR.
almost. That
Yeah,
was
and
what
she's,
I
like,
remember
faking
people
it.
saying that. Yeah, I remember people saying
Mhm.
like, "Oh, she's doing this to get attention," and then she's like name dropping her shit. But I feel like, I
Yeah.
mean, no, I just don't think
I don't think
think
Hollywood has been too
anybody's
kind to her.
doing that. Like, do you think that maybe that's me being naive, honestly, because I see a lot of people who will document manic episodes or document these like breakdowns on TikTok, and I do feel that when you're recording yourself in a moment of sadness or weakness, you kind of succumb to this feeling of like letting yourself feel all the emotions, and maybe it seems like you're being dramatic, but maybe you're also just like letting it all out. And like one time I'll say this. One time I was like I was so upset. I was so depressed about, I probably got broken up with or whatever. And I like recorded a video of myself. I was so angry and I was just like yelling and like ranting and whatever, as if I was like recording a podcast or something.
Right.
And it made me feel better. And then when I watched it again, I was like, ew, what the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
me? Like, am I good? And I think like having the camera on myself made me like perform a little. Like it helped me
totally.
get it out.
Yeah.
And it helped me like feel better. But it also like was embarrassing to watch. I was like, oh, I don't like this. Like, I'm not that kind of person who's kind of like, is this vulnerable or am I just like
Performing.
am I over the top because that's how I feel?
I think you like when you turn the camera on, I think you just like really dig and you get like
Totally.
every crevice.
Totally.
So I don't even know if it's just, like performative. You're like, I didn't even know that was in me.
Exactly. Like when I watched it back, I was like, who is this person? Like, is
Yeah.
this? And it wasn't something I liked. I was like, I don't know if I'm wanting to like
Put this on the
be
internet
that.
forever.
Yeah, certainly not. I hadn't planned on putting it on the internet, but I like watched it and was like, oh, we'll see what kind of, maybe I can
Make this
do more
something.
videos like this, or
Yeah.
maybe this is a healthy outlet for me. And watching it back, maybe not. I've never done that again. That was it
Yeah.
was really weird, and it was like not my vibe. But yeah, so I guess going back to Gabby Hanna and the people on the internet, I always wonder like how much truth there is to those like breakdowns and what's going on. There's a girl on TikTok also. I can never remember her name. She's got red hair. She's so pretty, and she reads poems. She like doesn't read them, but she like recites them. I don't know if she memorizes them or if she has them like written behind them or something. But she is so good at performing these poems.
She's the one that does Pretty Bird.
Yes, Pretty Bird. Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
I
Pretty
love
Pretty
that
Bird.
one.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
I don't know her name.
I don't know either. I follow her. She's so gorgeous and she's so well spoken and her timing is good and she's never stumbling over her words. It's like I want to like talk like her, Like I want to have that kind of
Yeah.
control over what I'm saying and not be like spitting and stumbling over my words. Okay, the next book I brought with me is The Love Letters of Great Men, Volume 1. I don't know if you guys recognize this from the Sex and the City movie, first one.
Oh no.
Oh.
Obviously, I own it. And I saw it and I went, wow. And I bought it immediately. And I tried to look for like the poem that Carrie reads in it because it's the scene where she and Big have their penthouse apartment in the sky and whatever, and they get in bed together, and she opens up this book, and it's a hardcover copy of this from the New York Library, and she's talking about how she loves the way it smells and whatever, and he's like, what is this? And she's like, research for my new book, I've already found love, now I'm trying to figure out what happens when you find it, and she starts reading excerpts from this book. And I couldn't find the one that she read, which drives me crazy. Like I'm always looking for that one. But then later on in the thing, we find out that Big's trying to get her back. She has his email blocked, and so she can't see it. But he writes to her all these poems, like from this book, from different books, from all these different artists, because they are things that he can't put into words himself. And I think that that's wonderful and beautiful.
Oh, big.
I know. I hate
course
him
she
and I
has a
love
fucking
him.
I
book,
love
like-
a toxic man.
Of course, he's so toxic. He's so horrible, but I love him so
Yeah.
much.
I
know.
Like, ugh, terrible. I don't. But this book I think is interesting because it's a lot of they all are like letters to lovers from war, basically. And like this one is from like Lord Randolph Churchill, August 1873. Cuff Cooper, August 20th, 1918. Like there's a lot of like 1820, John Keats. Like they must have been, collected or found in these letters. And so a lot of them are very much like, when I get back from war, I can't wait to kiss the nape of your neck and things like that. And it's a really good book, really good book. Another one I had from my time of working at the New Yorker, I got this book. It's called Quarter Life Poetry, Poems for the Young, Broke, and Hangry, Samantha Jane. And it's a
like that.
it's
Like
a
that.
silly book and it's funny. And like this one, it says like, I should be a beacon, a shining example, not crouched at the cheese shop inhaling free samples. And it's like pictures like
that's
this.
fun.
cute.
and
It's
cute.
silly and it's funny. And I think that people sometimes will think of poetry as like this very serious, deep thing that has to be like, from your inner soul and whatever. And it doesn't always have to be. It can be silly. If it's relatable and fun and short and sweet, it also works,
I agree.
So I love it. Quarter Life Poetry, highly suggest. And my last one, my favorite poetry book that I've gotten is by Robert M. Drake. I'm not so sure that I love Robert M. Drake outside of this book. I follow the account on Instagram and it's a little cheesy. And if you really like angsty love stuff and like the stuff that's like, just move forward. He doesn't deserve you. Like follow the Instagram, but otherwise get this book. It's called Empty Bottles Full of Stories. I bought it only because of the cover. Look at this cover. Is this not the prettiest?
That's
Obsessed.
very cool. I like that.
I read it in one sitting at the park in Union Square. I like bought it at that Barnes and Noble. When I was like,
yeah.
I'll check out a couple of these. I ended up reading the whole thing on a bench. So New York of
You
me.
probably looked so like.
No,
chic.
I saw like a man came up to me and was hitting
Yeah.
on me. Like I was like, oh yeah.
Oh
like,
my
he came up
God.
and was like, what are you reading? I was like, oh
just
well,
poetry.
I'll just some poetry. Like, and I wasn't doing it on purpose, I swear, but I was accidentally like just the douchiest person in the
That'd
park.
be a cool
But
tattoo, that cover.
isn't it
Ooh,
awesome?
yeah.
Oh wow, Gia. I've been looking for a new tattoo.
Hey, there you
Lyrics
go.
I've been looking for. But I have so many of these dog eared. Look how many I have like
Oh, yeah.
written. I'm just gonna pick one at random and I'll read one. Let's see. Just to give you a taste. This one is called I Often ... It says, I often think of whom it is you're thinking of right before you go to sleep. And sometimes I wonder if it is me. I wonder, and I cannot say this better myself, but I miss you. And I hope you find my precious company when you feel most alone. I know. This is a heartbreak book. This is a book
I
for
wanna read that.
if you
Yeah,
want to
now
cry
I
your
wanna
fucking
read
eyes
it.
out.
Yeah,
It's a
me too.
really, really good book. So that's that. And I have one more thing. I don't know how long have we been talking.
45
45
minutes.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, good. I have plenty of time for my ending situation. So I have to tell you guys a story.
Okay.
When I was really depressed and I was broken up with and I was in my apartment and I was also trying to find an outlet for this like depression. Like I, refused to go to therapy and whatever, like wouldn't take Lexapro, even though I should have, and like shit like that. So
Yes.
I was also like unemployed at the time. Like I was in a fucking spiral.
Right,
like it was a
right.
bad time in
Bad
my life,
time.
but I've learned a lot from it. I wouldn't say I'm thankful for it, but I've definitely learned a lot from it. So at least we have that. But at that time, I was very obsessed with these books. I was obsessed with looking at poems online. I was obsessed with just like reading anything and everything about people that were having or had shared experiences that were like mine. It just made me feel better about my situation.
Right.
So I was always reading stuff. And one night I was like, I don't know if I was high or drunk or like what I was, but I wrote a poem myself.
Oh, beautiful.
And I submitted it to the New Yorker. And I got through a first round, and then they said no.
so
I was
so cool though.
bummed.
That's so
but it
fun,
was
though.
cool for like a minute, and so but I saved it because I was like, you know what? No, I love this, and maybe I'll like switch it up another day, and like, it's very rhymey. In my head, I was kind of writing it as if they were lyrics versus a poem, and it's a little sad and it's a little bit like angsty, but I want to read it to you guys, and I want your
Yay.
thoughts about it.
Yay.
I've never read it to anybody.
Oh, this is an honor.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
No one's ever heard it or seen it. Or
Let me fix my brain.
I don't even know if I've told my friends that I wrote this poem. I probably have, but No, I don't think I have. Not my girlfriends. Okay.
This is a special moment.
I know this is weird for me. Okay. I'm feeling vulnerable. But it's dark, it's sad, it's depressing, like you'll hear it. But I think that it's good. It's called The Lake.
Wow, very Taylor Swift.
Very
I know,
Taylor
right?
Swift.
This is before that song even came out.
Oh, you manifest.
Of course I did. This was like, a couple years ago. I'm not going to give an exact date, but it was a couple years ago. All right. A long time coming, or so you told me. How long is long to you? 2 months? 3? My mind is trapped in this box. It's been weeks since we last talked. Do you feel my anticipation, my heartache, my intoxication? You seem to be doing just fine. I want to be happy for you. I do. I just thought I'd be saying I do to you, not to the idea of life without you. You want to protect, that's what you do, or is it really just fear pushing you to drive this stake through? Can we overcome the guilt, the lies, the mistakes? I'm not sure that's something I can shake. The weight of your words feel like rocks in my pockets, and I'm stuck at the bottom of the lake.
Kelly,
What do you think?
That was so good.
Thank you.
so
I'm really
good.
embarrassed.
Really very,
I've never,
very good.
no one has never heard that.
Ah,
And
the
I
ending
feel
is so good.
That's my favorite part. The weight of the words feel like I think about that line all the time. So I in my head, I don't know where I saw that. Maybe in like a movie or something, somebody was saying like the weight of your words. Like people kept saying the weight of your words.
Yeah.
And for some reason it made me feel like weighing down. It made me feel like drowning. It made me feel
Yeah.
like whatever. And I kind of got that. And that's what I thought of first. And then I wrote around it.
Right.
And I just really loved it. And I was proud of
I
myself
love
and it was
it.
cool.
You
And I
should be
felt
proud of
really
yourself.
good afterwards. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I feel good. Like even if this is like, if this is good or bad or whatever, like I don't really care.
It's a release.
If it was a release and it felt great. And it was the first time that I was like, you know what? Wow, this is nice. And
Yeah.
then since then, I love writing. I blog a lot. I do that kind of stuff a lot. Mostly it has to be like when I write on the blog, it has to be about like pop culture stuff. It has to be like about, things that are going to get clicks and views and whatever. I don't often get to write about things that I really love or feel passionate about. That's why I do love doing the Taylor Swift blogs because I get to take some time and write 5,000 words about how much I love Taylor. Same with Harry Potter. Those are my longest blogs.
Yeah.
But when you take the time to kind of like sit in the dark or sit and listen to like a melancholy instrumentals playlist, which I highly suggest on Spotify, and you just like let yourself feel the emotions that you're feeling, it can kind of, it brings out a good feeling in you. And so I
Yeah.
understand why so many people write poetry or write these poems, and whether or not it's good or whatever, like it makes them feel good. And I appreciate that about it. And I feel lucky to have studied it growing up. I feel like
Yeah.
we're all lucky to kind of have that in our lives. What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
I thought that was great. I think
thanks.
poetry is like one of the best outlets
Yeah.
for people because, like you said when we first started, it's like such a way to describe how you're feeling in like a unique metaphorical way that's not like so blunt and to the point. Like I'm sad. It's
Right.
very like philosophical.
Sometimes saying I'm sad like isn't enough. Like
Yeah.
I need
No,
you
like-
to know. I need you to
Yes.
know that like there's rocks in my pockets and I'm drowning in the
Yeah,
lake.
exactly.
Like, that's
Like-
you know what I mean? Like there
Yes.
needs to be more to it.
Yeah, it
for
adds
sure.
just so much more emotion.
Yeah.
So I feel like it helps you let out your
Yes.
emotion.
Yes.
Like the more dramatic, the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
Like, oh, I will be dramatic.
The more dramatic, the better. I very much feel that. Like it's the moment where it's the written word version of you clicking play on the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a little more, and it gives you a little more time to get your words right, get your situation right,
Yeah.
and it feels good. It's a
Yeah.
good time. It's a good outlet. Great reads. Like I said, I highly suggest all these books. Also, I just realized this is so off topic now, but I have this sweatshirt. I have so many sweatshirts. I have so many sweatshirts for Halloween, and look on all my social media for it. This one I think is my favorite. It says "Rise and Shine," and it's the book from Hocus Pocus.
I love
I meant to put
Hocus
this on halfway through the episode, but I started sweating because we were talking about poetry, and I knew
Yeah.
I was going to read my own poem later, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't be sweating. I knew I'd feel awkward, but now I'm cold because I was sweating the whole time.
That's hilarious.
So buy this sweatshirt, but
Yes.
yeah, I think that it's fun, and I also want to say that I'm so surprised and so excited about all of the people who submitted poems, like not poems of their own, but poems that they love, poets that they really liked. I really thought that this was going to be like a losery thing and no one was going to like it. And I was shocked by the amount of people that submitted their favorites. And it gives me hope. It gives me hope that there is intelligent life out there. You know what I
this
mean?
makes me want to read.
Yeah.
I know, right?
And write a poem.
And it's a foggy day today. Like,
it's a
I'm
total
gonna go home
poem
and
day.
I'm gonna light all the candles in my house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read some poems and just take it easy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's a
Yeah.
very nice, relaxing way to kind of escape. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. What do you guys think? You guys anything else? Anything to end the show?
No, I
With poems in your
appreciate
mind?
you sharing that
Yeah.
poem with us.
Oh my God, you're welcome.
I feel like I
Yeah.
learned a lot.
I was
today.
really nervous.
I know.
Did you?
Yes.
That's what we need to do here.
And I want to
Like-
buy that book.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. I'll send you guys
and
links.
we'll go and we'll
I'll
go
send
read
you
it in
links.
Union Square Park together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, man. We'll pick you up there.
With our berets on.
With our
Yeah,
berets
with
on.
your berets. Like I said, the berets are yours. The
We'll have a
glasses are mine.
croissant.
But yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. I'm not sure what the topic will be next week yet, but as usual, I didn't promote the voicemail line this week because I wanted to talk the whole time. But if you want to leave a voicemail for me just to talk or whatever, 551-258-3436. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify. Write me a little review. People are writing really nice reviews.
I saw that. I know.
And it's
So
making me
nice.
feel good.
Yes.
It's making me feel good. So keep doing that. You know, like I said, we're starting from the bottom on the podcast chain, so we got to get up there. We gotta keep pushing. We appreciate that. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys next week.